back to my channel. Today, we're going to be tier ranking all of my 5-star reads from the past like 4-ish years. I think I started in 2021 because previously to that I was reading, but A, I wasn't really using Goodreads, and B, I stopped reading when I was in college pretty much. I think I read like 4 books my entire 3 years that I was there. So I didn't really start getting back into reading until 2020, and then I didn't read that much in 2020. So like my real like hardcore reading and hardcore tracking of reading started in 2021. So I have all of those metrics I can pull from. So I have pretty much almost all of the 5 stars I have across the past 4 years. I cut some out because some of them I didn't really care about at all anymore, and I really couldn't give a single thought into why they were a 5-star, but at the time clearly they were. Some of them are still in this list, but I wanted to at least not have hundreds of books on this list, so I've got some stuff here, and now I think I can take you through the tiers that I've made. And my tiers are inspired by RuPaul's Drag Race. There are a bunch of like popular quotes from the show. Okay, the first tier we have, we'll start at the top, is opulence.
Opulence. You own everything.
Our second tier is it's fashion.
It's fashion? Is it wait, but is it fashion? It's fashion.
Our third tier is party.
I need to go to the end of this competition. I need to. Party.
And then our fourth tier is choices.
We all make choices, but that was a choice. Choices. Choices. Choices.
And the last tier is Mama, this is garbage.
Mama, this is garbage. Right here.
And I feel like most of these are self-explanatory. You get the vibes. You understand what I'm saying. Opulence, it's at the top. It's opulent. Mama, this is garbage. She's garbage. Now, I don't think I'll have a lot in the bottom tier, hopefully. We'll see, because all of these are my 5-star reads. But I feel like most of them are probably going to be in It's Fashion or Party. Wait, some of them might be in Choices. We'll see. But let's just get into this tier ranking and start listing some of these out. So my first one here is Radio Silence. I read this a couple years ago. I don't really remember. It had to have been within the last 3-4 years, because this is when all of these are from. But I think I'm going to put this in It's Fashion, because I really loved this book at the time that I read it, and I feel like I really related to the main character with a lot of the thoughts she was having at the time. And I read this in like 2 days. I flew through it. So I still really loved it. I don't know if I want to put in Opulence. I feel like Opulence is like my 5 stars of 5 stars. So that's why I don't think I'm going to have a lot there. But It's Fashion, solid. I think that's what it's going to be. Next, Feral Sins by Suzanne Wright. Now, for some of these, I have just the first book in a series, and I'm using it to encapsulate the entire series. Or some of them, I have multiple books in a series because I feel very different about. Or some of them, I just have the one book because I feel very different about the other books in the series. I'll let you know when that happens. But for Feral Sins, I'm doing this as the entirety of the Phoenix Pack series, which actually the Mercury Pack series is also a part of that, because I read both of these at the same time. And I feel like I'm going to put this in Party for both of these, because while I really enjoyed books 1 and like 2, 3-ish from the Phoenix Pack, and throughout the series, like it has its ups and downs, but you will see consistently for Miss Suzanne Wright that she has a formula when it comes to her books, and she doesn't deviate from said formula. So like there are just certain things, like I know there's going to be some other woman drama. I know the person who's like the bad guy is probably going to be someone slightly related. Like we've met them throughout the book. Like I kind of know the beats that the book's going to take because she does it in every book. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. Like every now and then I'll pick it up because, you know, I know what I'm getting. I know what I want. But reading them back to back to back like I did, because I'm pretty sure the Phoenix Pack and Mercury Pack total is probably like, I don't know, 15, 20-ish books. And I was flying through them. So I loved them at the time. But I think I'm going to stick Party because they're good, but they are formulaic. And then I think I also have another series. Yes, this is I think it's Dark in You series by her. I'm also going to put that in Party. They're all 3 going in Party because same thing. This one has demons as the like mystical creatures in it, whereas Phoenix Pack and Mercury Pack are shifters. It's mostly both shifters, but they do actually have a bunch of different shifters. This series and then the Burn series is demons, and I want to say maybe there was a bit of a crossover at one of them. I don't know, but they're all pretty much solidly party. Next up, we have The Hunger Games. I feel like I want to put this in opulence. This one is only the first book because I only read the first book. I've only read the first book. I've read the first book twice, and I've DNF'd the second book twice. I wasn't disliking the second book by any means. It's just certain things were happening, and I was like, I don't like the. Granted, I've seen all the movies, so like I knew how it was going to work out. Like I knew I was going to enjoy where the story was going, but it wasn't. I don't know. I was annoying me, so I stopped. But I did really love The Hunger Games, and I read it the first time in high school, and then I reread it a year or two ago, and I enjoyed it just as much now as I did then. So I still might read the Hunger Games series. I don't know. I feel like maybe the time has passed, but I do still think I would enjoy it now. I don't feel like I'm too old for anything. I still feel like it'll hit. And with the new book that just came out, kind of makes me want to read it, but also like I know it's really bad. So I'm like, do I want to put myself through that? But I also kind of want to read Songbirds and Snakes, which I don't feel like anyone really likes, but I feel like it sounds interesting. Next up, we have Addicted to You by Kristen Becca Ritchie. This one includes the first and second book because those are the only two that I've read yet, and I think I'm going to put these in its fashion. I feel like if I continue through the series and then also read through, the spin-off, the Calloway Sister series, which is like interconnected with this one, I feel like it could be a opulence. It could get to opulence, but as of right now, the first two, they were really good. I gave both of them 5 stars, and I really enjoyed them, especially because the second book most people don't like, but I still give it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna continue on through that series at some point. I'm not great at finishing series. We know that, but Addicted to You, I think, is solidly its fashion. It was a great story. It follows 2 addicts, and while the choices they make are very frustrating to the reader, it's understandable. And while I do get, like, you get annoyed with them at times, but you're also, like, really rooting for them because you want the best for them. So I think it's solidly its fashion. Empire of Pain by Patrick Radden Keefe. This is the story of basically how one singular family started the opioid epidemic in the United States. I don't know, it's nonfiction, so I'm like, can I really judge it that hard? I want to put it in a fashion because I did really enjoy it, and I thought it was very informative, and I liked learning about what happened, even though like the outcome isn't like that satisfactory because the Sacklers basically kind of get away with it. But I do think at times it was a little dry, which I mean it's nonfiction, so like I feel like as a genre, nonfiction just tends to be dry. But it was just a little dry at certain points. I was listening to the audio, but it was very, very fun, and I enjoyed learning about this awful family. Next up, Normal People. That's going in opulence, baby. Opulence. I love this book so much. I love Sally Rooney so much. Like, I am a Sally Rooney fangirl through and through. And I loved Normal People. This is one where the main, like, thing that people don't like about this, that it is pretty much heavy in the miscommunication. But for me, the miscommunication just felt very real. It felt like an actual kind of conversation that I would have with someone that I could realistically see myself having. And that's why I liked it, because while yes, the miscommunication is kind of frustrating at times, it didn't seem unrealistic. It seemed like the miscommunication that you would genuinely have with your friends or your loved ones at any point in time. And also, I did cry at one point in this book. I did. Like, and I think a book that can get me to cry, like, usually gets 5 stars. If I'm enjoying the book and it can get me to cry, it will normally get a 5 star for me. And I really love Normal People. I love both these characters. I love what they were going through, and I love their story. Sue me. Oh, next we have 2 books in the Game of Thrones series. A Game of Thrones and A Storm of Swords, which is books 1 and 3. Yes, 1 and 3. I feel like I want to put A Game of Thrones in opulence and then A Storm of Swords in its fashion. Because Game of Thrones, I thought this was a great start to the series. I really flew through most of this book. I think it's like 600-700 pages, and I flew through it pretty quickly. And this was kind of I feel like it's been like the blueprint for the genre for a bit, because, you know, everything now is like, oh, it's the next Game of Thrones, or it's Game of Thrones meets XYZ other trope here or genre here. So I feel like it definitely has set the tone for the genre, especially for grimdark, which I am a grimdark girly. I love grimdark, and I loved this book. I thought it was really good. A Storm of Swords only gets its fashion just because I kind of felt like it was too long. It's the longest in the series, and it is long. It's better than A Feast for Crows, because Feast for Crows was boring as hell. And so much happened, especially in like the second half of this book, that was really good. And also the ending. Actually, you know what? I'm putting it in opulence. I changed my mind. I'm remembering the ending now, how it ended, because it's different from how it ends in the show. I never watched the show, but I do know certain things don't happen in it. And certain things was revealed at the end of that book. And I'm like, where are we going with that? I want more of it, because I think we got like a little bit of it in A Feast for Crows, but I'm like, I need more information. I need to know what context this is, because it's such a like cliffhanger twist. But I'm like, I need more. I need to understand. Next we have Even If It Hurts. This is what I don't know how to explain this book. This book is kind of fucked. Fully gonna admit that. But I kind of ate it up. Like, I remember, I think I was with my parents. We were going somewhere, but we were staying in a hotel. I think we went in Jacksonville or something. And I started this as we were like leaving our house to drive to where we were going. And I did not put it down. We got to the hotel. I was still reading it. It was like 2, 3 a.m. and I was still reading this book. I remember my mom got up to pee and she saw me awake with my Kindle reading. She's like, "You're still up?" And I'm like, I can't put this book down. Like, I just could not stop reading. But it is really fucked up. Like, it's I don't know if I can call it a romance, because the love interest, the guy, awful person. And the author, like, states that in the book, that, like, he's an awful person. And he's not a person, is not an awful character where, like, they get better or they, like, redeem themselves through love. No, he stays an awful person. He's awful to her. Like, he does awful things. But like, you can't not read it. It's like a car crash. Like, you just have to keep going. Like, this is not a romance where I'm like, oh my god, OTP, like, they need to stay forever. No, he's an awful person, and she just kind of lets him do what he wants, and she's not even really into it. But at one point she's like, okay, I guess. So like, it's an awful dynamic, but you can't stop reading. Like, it's entertaining as fuck, but it's definitely not a romance where I'm like, oh my god, swoon. No. But I had such a good time with it. So I'm like, I'm conflicted. I feel like because I did enjoy it so much and I read through it so much, I have to put it in its fashion. But it's not one of books where I would like recommend it to literally anyone at all, ever. I think we're gonna stay at its party. We're gonna stay at party. It's party. Ooh, Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This encompasses the whole entirety of the Brown Sister series. Just going in opulence. I have genuinely laughed out loud so many times reading this series. It's so good. And Get Out of Chloe Brown isn't even my favorite one. It's so good, but like, each book just gets better and better and funnier. And they also deal with like actual like real life things. Like Chloe in the first book, she deals with like chronic pain. And in the second book, the male interest, he's dealing with grief and anxiety. The third book has, autism representation. Like, it has all these things going on with it, and it's so good. It's so fucking funny. Like, genuinely, I love this series so much. I need Talia Hibbert to come back and keep writing these. I know they're, at least on Goodreads, it seems like she's doing like a spin-off for, there was a family we met in the third book. I think there would be a spin-off from that, dealing with like those siblings, and I would love that. I need that. Talia, please write it, because it seems like there's no date on it, but she's writing other things, and I need more of this. I love this Talia Hibbert, especially this series. Amazing. Next, we have a classic, Antigone. I feel like I want to put this one in opulence as well, just because it is like a classic, and I was so surprised to have liked it as much as I did. We did study this when I was in high school, and we watched like the play, and I don't think we ever actually read the play. So I was reading through this and I was like, oh, this is actually fun. I'm really enjoying this. I love Antigone as a character. So, and it's pretty short. Like, it's a very, very short read. I obviously, like I studied it before, so like, I knew what was going to happen. I knew what the story was. And I don't know, I really liked it. It was a good time. It was a soleil. The Soul Mate Equation by Christina Lauren. This one also encompasses the entirety of this series, because I think it's just 2, which is Soul Mate Equation and The True Love Experiment. And you want to put them both in its fashion. I enjoyed both of these immensely just because I gave them both 5 stars. But it's one of those ones where it's like I really like them, but it's not a romance that really sticks out in my mind as like a favorite. But I still really had a good time with it. I still enjoyed it. They were fun. And I was surprised to have liked as much as I did because I think The Soulmate Equation was my second Christina Lauren. My first one was The Unhoneymooners, and I disliked that book immensely. Mainly because of the second half. The first half was super fun. I had a great time, enjoyed it. How the second half played out, hate. So I went into this with very low expectations. So that probably helped in my enjoyment of this. So I think this entire series, I don't know if there's going to be more, I don't think so. But for at least these 2 books, it's fashion. Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. I don't know. It's fashion, party. It's fashion, party. I'm going to do party. Because this follows a couple, they're like, I think pretty much at the tail end of their divorce, or like they're in the midst of getting divorced, because they were going through, I think they were going through a lot of infertility stuff. I think there was like a miscarriage, and then the husband does cheat on the wife, and that kind of like what implodes the relationship. It was kind of dwindling before that, but that's like the last nail in the coffin. However, he, I think, gets into an accident and then like loses the last couple months, last year or whatever, so he still thinks they're married and in love. She's like, no, like we're about to get divorced. And I think he has to like stay with her because, I don't know, because of his brain injury. I don't know. It's like he can't have whatever. But like they're now together again, and he's basically trying to like win her back because he obviously doesn't remember why their marriage fell apart or like why he would ever cheat on her. And I did really enjoy it. I really loved it. My only gripe was that throughout most of this book, a lot of the blame was put on him, and don't get me wrong, most of it he did cheat on her, but their relationship already was kind of rocky prior to that, and it was a lot of her just like not talking and not opening up to him, and for reasons that like she's justifiable reasons, but it felt like she never really acknowledged that, and I didn't like that. And nobody else was acknowledging that. They were all just like, yeah, he fucked up, he's bad, it's all his fault, that's why your marriage fell apart. When it's like, no, they were already going through stuff before that, and I don't feel like we really talked about that part. And that was really, I was like, I want a little bit of acknowledgement of that. I understand he definitely fucked up. He's the bad person. He's the baddest person in this. But also, let's have a little responsibility for what you did too. Please, por favor, if you wouldn't mind. Comfort Me with Apples. I'm gonna put this one in its fashion. This one's a short, sweet horror. The twist at the end of this, I didn't see coming. And this is one of the ones where you kind of have to go into blind because you're gonna be confused. You're like, what is going on here? What is happening? And it's short, like I said, so quick read. But when I got the twist, I was like, oh, okay, I really like that twist. So I think it's fashion. I love a good horror. I love a weird horror too, you know. Twilight of Embers. Mama, this is garbage. Oh, this is one where like hindsight is 2020 because I have read. I've started 4 separate Tessa Hale series. I've finished 2 and I've DNF'd 2. And my issue with Miss Tessa Hale is that even worse than Suzanne Wright is that she has a formula and she follows that formula to a T exactly. I could tell you this is going to happen in book 1. This is how it'll end. We're going to pick up here in book 2 and then do this, and then this is how book 2 ends, and then we're going to pick up right here in book 3, and then we're going to wrap it up just like this in book 3. I could give you beat for beat the entire plot for the entire trilogy, because she always has trilogies, and they all pretty much have the same exact flow. It's just like different types of shifters, because Twilight of Embers is dragon shifters, and then there was one that was like a magic school, and they were like elementals, and then another one, I think they're wolf shifters. I think 2 of them might be wolf shifters. I don't know. But it pretty much follows the same exact beats. They have the same exact characters with the same exact flaws, and everything plays out the same exact way with them. It's just so easy. And then also how the series ends just sucks. Like each book, like the writing isn't great, and then the way it ended, it was very, oh god. Like I just have so many things to say with this. So like I feel like because I hadn't read anything from her when I read Twilight of Embers, I was like, oh, this is like, I had my criticisms, but I was like, oh, but it's still fun, you know? But after reading 4 other first books in series, they're all 4 exactly the fucking same, and it's just no thank you. So I'm sticking with Mama, this is garbage. It deserves to be there, and I'm not sure why. I've thought maybe choices, but on Mama, this is garbage. We need to switch it up. We need a little variety. Give me a little something else. Give me something else. Do something else. Next, we have My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Miss Otessa Moshfegh. I'm gonna put this one in its fashion. This one is a like literary fiction that like not much happens. It's very much you just following this character who's like mad depressed and just tries to sleep for the entire year. So she's like getting prescriptions from her terrible psychiatrist who just these sleeping pills that she takes, and she just wants to sleep throughout the whole year. And I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. The ending is definitely out there. Like you, I don't think you're ever gonna guess like what happens at the end of this book and where it goes. But that was a choice. I'm like whatever with it. But there's a scene in this book that I always remember because I don't know why. Like it made me laugh, but it's kind of fucked up because it's like she's our main character who's unnamed throughout the entirety of the book. She's kind of seeing this guy. He sucks. She also sucks. So like they're two shitty people, and like they really don't even fucking like each other, but they're dating. And he's decided to like end their relationship, and her thought process is like, okay, well, I don't want him to go because like he's just because I think he's like a constant in her life, and she's just not willing to give that up. Not that she gives a shit about him, she just doesn't want. She's like not willing to get rid of him. So she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna tell him that I love him, and that'll make him stay. So she's like, oh, I love you. And this man turns to her and goes, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know why that shit because that's so fucked up to say to someone because he doesn't think. I'm pretty sure he does not give a shit whether or not she likes him or not. So like whether or not he knows that if she actually loves him, I don't think he does. He just doesn't give a shit if she does. Yeah, that was funny as fuck to me for some reason. All right, next up is Just Drop Out by Jay Bree. This is the first book in the Hannaford Prep series. And I'm going to put this one in Party because when I read it, I loved it. I flew through this series. I'm pretty sure because it's 4 books in the series. I think I read it in like a weekend, if that. I was eating up these books. Here's the thing: you have to suspend every single this book. You have suspend it. Like have no beliefs. Don't think at all, because some of the setup for this makes no sense, and you're gonna be like, "What? Like, what are you talking?" Because it's basically kind of like our main character. I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's kind of like mafia-esque things that are happening. However, some of these mafia people who are like high up and like leading, at the time they start leading, they're like 13, and you're like, in what world do you make it to the top of this like mafia syndicate whatever at being a tween? So you can't just don't question things. Just read it and just be like, okay, going with the flow. We're here for the vibes because it was fun and I had a great time, but it makes no fucking sense. That's all I gotta say. And then speaking of Jay Bree, we have what is it? The Bonds That Tie series. I'm gonna put it in its fashion because while I feel like maybe if I reread it, I wouldn't. Actually, no. I feel like if I reread it, I would eat it up just as much as I did the first time because this is another one. I think this one's 6 books. I never finished the last book, but I flew through the first 4 first 5 in 1 week. And like during the week, I read 2 of them, and over the weekend, I read 3. I was flying through the series. I ate it the fuck up, just like I flew through Hannaford Prep. I think I read Hannaford Prep after Broken Bonds. Like I flew through all these. Oh my god, like they're just so entertaining, so good. And I feel like I do need to reread Broken Bonds and maybe finally finish the 6th book because I flew through the first 5 and the 6th book was supposed to come out like a week or 2 later, and then it got delayed. And then by the time I got delayed, I was not in the mood to read them anymore, so I just never finished the series. But I feel like I need to, and I should because it was good. And I feel like I just don't like it. Ugh. It was so good. It's fashion though. It's got to stay in its solidly fashion because I don't think it's opulence, but it's still 8. I still love it. Lola and the Millionaires. This is a duet, so part 1 and 2. She's going in opulence. I love this one. This one's Omegaverse, which I love an Omegaverse. I need more Omegaverse like recommendations because I feel like I've already read all the popular ones. I think there's another one. There's another one down there. I'll probably pull that one up next. I love Lola and the Millionaires. This follows Lola, who she has some traumatic things in her past, but I don't even know what the pack name is. I don't remember anyone's fucking name, to be honest. They see her and they are interested in her, so you just kind of follow them over these 2 books. And they are 10 out of 10. So good. I love this series. And I'm pretty sure Lola and the Millionaire is probably like one of the most popular Omegaverse because I feel like everyone talks about it, recommends it. So 10 out of 10. Love that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I had another book in the series. Yes. This one, Bad Alpha. This is I want to put that in party. This is another book that's a part of the series. The way this Sweetverse series works is that Catherine Moon, she writes some books in the series, and I think there's another author or two that they write some books, so it's kind of like random, it switches off. And I think Catherine Moon has written, she wrote the 2 books in the Lonely Millionaire series, Baby and the Midnight Howlers, Bad Alpha, and then Faith and the Dead End Devils. I think that's all she's written in the series. There may be more coming out, who knows. But Bad Alpha, this one, it's a female alpha, which I think is one of the only books I've read with a female alpha. I know there's another series, Leather and Something, that has a female alpha. Maybe I'll read that one. But this one is the first one I read that had a female alpha. And I did enjoy this one. It's long, so I feel like Miss Catherine Moon is long-winded. She writes a lot. So that's one of my complaints with it, is that I feel like it's too long, but I did enjoy it. It was a good time overall. So we're going to stick that one in party. And then sticking on the Omegaverse train, we have Pack Darling. This one's a duet. And I feel like I want to put this one in Opulence as well. Because I ate it up. It was so good. I flew through this. It's duet, so there's only 2. But the second book too, it has like god tier groveling. And I love a good grovel. I love when, you know, one character fucks up, maybe the guy, and then he's just like begging, pleading, crying, throwing up, wanting this woman back. And that's what basically the entire pack has to do, because they really fuck up basically at the end of book 1. And I've reread the second book like probably 3 times already, just because I wanna read that good groveling. So Pack Darling, very, very good. Definitely recommend. 10 out of 10, especially if you like Omegaverse, why choose? There you go. Also, yeah, all of these are Omegaverse, why choose? The Lonely Millionaires, Bad Alpha, Pack Darling. Top tier. Next up, we have Wait For It by Miss Mariana Zapata. I think I'm going to put it in its fashion. This one, if you all know, Miss Mariana Zapata is like the queen of slow burn. And when you say slow burn, she needs slow burn. Like, these are 500 pages, and you're going to get one singular smutty scene. It's going to be basically in the last chapter. So that's what we mean by slow burn. We're not talking like, 70, 80, which is what I thought when I read the other book I have on here. What is it? The Wall of Winnipeg and Me? Where'd you go? I know you're here. Am I blind? Oh, here it is. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which is going to go... I think I want to put The Wall of Winnipeg and Me in Opulence, simply because it is my favorite Mariana Zapata, and I've read a few from her. Actually, I have another one here from Luke Love with Love. We should have kept these all together. Luke Love with Love is going in its fashion as well. So I have read a few other ones from her as well, but those are the 3 that I gave 5 stars. And Wall of Winnipeg and Me was my first one ever. And that's one that I thought, like 70, 80%. That's like, what do you mean by like slow burn? No. End of the book. But I still love this book. Like, I flew through this one as well. I was just eating up, and I love the characters, of the dynamic. It was amazing. It was so good. And Wait For It from Love with Love. These are also solid 5 stars. And I feel like maybe if I read those first, I would feel as strongly as I do about The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, but maybe just because The Wall of Winnipeg was first. And it was my first ever slow burn as well. So I loved those. And I feel like I liked he's a football player. They had A Marriage of Convenience, and I love A Marriage of Convenience. So I feel like that one really, it just resonated with me. Wait For It and Love Love are also very, very good. Wait For It was actually such a surprise that I gave 5 stars, because I thought this movie would be like a 4 or 3. I didn't think I would like it as much, because I don't feel like it's as popular as Wall of Winnipeg from Lukov, and then Culty and All Roads Lead Here are her like top 4 very popular. Not many people talk about Wait For It, but Wait For It was just as good. Amazing. 5 stars. Heartstopper, and this encompasses the entirety of the series going to its fashion. I pretty much read all of these like back to back to back, so I could not differentiate one volume from the next if I tried, and that's kind of how it is for a lot of books, especially with like the Bonza Tai, since I read them back to back. But I do remember really enjoying Heartstopper. It's sweet, it's a fun read, they're quick reads, and they also again like deal with some more serious stuff as well. So I enjoy these. Is this last one out yet? Because I think the 6th one is the last one. Maybe. I don't know. I know I'm caught up. I just don't know if the most recent one has been published. But when it does, I'll probably reread the series again so that I can pick up the last book. What Was Meant to Be, another QB Tyler. I think we're going to put it in party. I haven't had a single choices yet. Ooh. Well, I still got a lot left, so we'll see. But What Was Meant to Be. This one was really good. This one is Dad's best friend, which choices. I mean, I think a lot of QB Tyler stuff is like taboo, which I enjoyed that aspect of it, and I really liked how he was like, I think he found out that she was engaged, and he was like, yeah, absolutely not. It's me and you. Like, we're endgame. I don't know what you were thinking, but you're not marrying that man. And I enjoyed that. There is cheating, because she does cheat on her fiance. But I mean, I guess the fiance like sucks. So there's that. Also, why I'm putting it lower down into party is because it does that thing that a lot of romances do when, especially a lot of like forbidden taboo romances do, where I think her dad is like at his apartment or her apartment and he's there, she's also there. And then they both disappear upstairs together and start, canoodling. And instead of waiting until her dad leaves, they just start doing that while he's there. And like he walks upstairs and like is like trying to find them, like hello, hello, and they're trying to be quiet behind the door. I'm like, you couldn't just wait like an hour until your dad was gone. And the only reason you didn't get caught is because of plot armor. Because realistically, you probably would have gotten caught. Because like, what are you two doing hiding around together? And he knows you're upstairs together, and he can't find you. And he was suspicious after that. But I was like, that's dumb. Just like wait, literally just wait. What is the point? Red Rising. I'm putting this one in opulence. I really enjoyed Red Rising. I know so many people say that this first book is like the roughest in the series and it's like not as good, which fair, but like it's still a great start. I gave this 5 stars. I ate this up. I flew through this book and I had a 10 out of 10. I see what people's criticisms are because it is like, I think the comp for this first was like Hunger Games is based, and it's pretty much just giving that, even though he is supposed to be like infiltrating this other group of people. There isn't much of the infiltration going on. It's really him just trying to survive these games. But I still 10 out of 10 really enjoyed this book. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's fashion. I enjoyed this one. I love a good YA thriller. I think I have another one on here. Yeah, The Naturals. I'm gonna put The Naturals in opulence. Okay, so I love a YA thriller. I've just been vibing with them. Like this one, The Naturals, and then Truly Devious. I think I read them all somewhat in the same-ish year, around the same-ish time. And I really enjoyed all of these. Like, they were so good. I don't know, I just vibe with them. And I feel like because they're pretty fast-paced and they're pretty interesting. And then The Naturals went darker, honestly, than I was expecting. But it was very, very good for both of these. I'm putting The Naturals on opulence, even though I did not like that first book in that series. But for some reason, I don't know, like the audiobook shows work with me, so I read it physically for the next 3 books, and I ate them up. I literally flew through these books. Like, they're so readable, they're so quick. The chapters are short, which is great. So I'm like, I need a series like The Naturals that is not the Inheritance Games, because I did read the first 2 books in that series. It's just not as good. I don't know. I feel like the FBI serial killers of The Naturals is way more entertaining than the puzzle solving of the Inheritance Games. It Happened One Summer by Miss Tessa Bailey. I'm putting this one in opulence. I love this book. I loved it when I read it. Unfortunately, it's the only Tessa Bailey book that I have liked, because I think it was just my first ever Tessa Bailey, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's one of the only ones I've given 5 stars. The second book in this series, I think I gave like 4.5. So I did enjoy that one, but pretty much any other Tessa Bailey I've read, I really didn't like at all, especially My Killer Vacation, not at all. Hate. But It Happened One Summer, 8. It was so good. I, again, read it pretty quickly. And I kind of want to reread it because I read it on my Kindle the first time, and I'm like, maybe I should reread it physically because I bought the book, obviously. But we'll see. This one was very good, though. Opulence, 10 out of 10. One of my favorite romances. Ooh, next up, we have 2 books by Miss Gianna Darling, and there are 2 books in the Fallen Men series. So Lessons in Corruption and Welcome to the Dark Side. I'm gonna put Lessons in Corruption into party. I want to put Welcome to the Dark Side into choices. Lessons in Corruption they're both age gap. However, in Lessons in Corruption, the male main character is the younger one, and the female character is the older one, and she's his teacher. He's 18 in high school. Still questionable. And here's the thing, and that's one of my concerns with the other book, but I feel like the other book leaned very hard into it, and I did like it. But she's his teacher, and he's like a part of a motorcycle club. I think he's a prospect, and like things happen from there. So I still enjoyed that one. It was fun. While I did enjoy Welcome to the Dark Side more, the more I sit on it, the more questionable I feel about it. Because, again, she's the younger one. She's in high school. He's older. He's like 30. He's the dad of the kid from the first book. So I guess I'm double standarding it because like it's still age gap and it's still like they're both still in high school. But I think where I started to not love it is there is a scene with both of them. She's a cheerleader, she's on the cheer squad, and they start canoodling underneath the bleachers in her like cheer uniform, and he's like, I think he called her a little girl at one point, and I didn't like that. This book did also make me cry at one point because there was one character, loved him. But I don't know, I have conflicting feelings about this book, and I never continued on with the series. So, and I don't know if I ever will. I still own them, all of them. So I don't know if I'll ever continue on with this because I don't know how I feel. They're all age gaps from what I know. And I want to say, the other than the first book, it's age gaps where like the girl's younger and she's like 18 and they're like 30. And as I get older, I'm not enjoying that dynamic at all. Next up, this is the Four Bears Construction series. So this income is all of them. And I'm going to put this into opulence because while like these, none of these are that deep. These are like very low angst, and it follows a construction company and like all of the guys in it, and they like find their partners. It's an MM romance, and they're very low angst, very chill. They're fun. They're funny. But I think the reason I feel like it's opulence because literally anytime I'm like in a slump and I don't know what to read, I just pick up this series. I'll pick up one book in it and I'll just listen to it because they're very quick and they're just super cute and they're super fun and I just really like them. I feel like that's why I gotta put in opulence because it's just something that like I always go back to. It takes literally like no effort for me to read them, and they're just, I know they're always gonna hit. I know they're always gonna be fun, and I've genuinely read one of the books in the series like 6 or 7 times. I'm pretty sure that was over like 2-ish years. So I've just been reading through it constantly. And I don't know. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. I can't. And ooh, I have another series by Miss K.M. Newhold. This is Crankshaft. I'm gonna put this in Party because this is one I think I've read through them and I've never tried to read them. And they're fun, they're good, but they're just not. I feel like maybe because I read The Four Bears Construction first that I just have like that nostalgia, that it has that hold on me. But Crankshaft is also good. I don't even know. This is like a spin-off from that series. I don't know what the name of the full series is. I think I'm fully caught up. I might be one behind. But it is good. They're very good. If you want like a fun, low angst, MM romances, K.M. Newhold got you back. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. She's gonna have to go in opulence. Because while this first book does not have much of a plot at all, like nothing's happening, that's where you introduce all the characters. And that's where I meet one of my favorite characters of all time, Sandan Glokta. Loved him. Love him too bad. He's a torturer. He's not a good person, but I love him. Honestly, most of the characters that I really love, I did not love. What's his name? Giselle. He kind of grew on me in the later books. But Mr. Glokta, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And I just love this series of fun. This pretty much encapsulates the First Law trilogy. And then I think I have another book by Mr. Abercrombie. I do. The Heroes. This is also going in opulence. This right now is my favorite of all the books within the First Law world. I've only read the first book in the Age of Madness trilogy, so I haven't finished that. I've only got 2 more books left. But The Heroes is one of the standalones. I thought this was really good because there's one specific scene that I always remember where, because it takes place like during a war, like during a battle specifically, and there's a chapter where we're basically like jumping from like character to character, like as they die in this battle. So you're in one character's head, and then when they die, we jump to this other character, then they die, and then we jump to this other character. And I thought that was just so well done. I thought it was so fun, and I really enjoyed The Heroes. 10 out of 10. Enjoyed it so much, and I just love the First Law world as a whole. I love Joe Abercrombie. I love Grim Dark, and he is Lord Grimdark. So I love both of those books, and I love both those series. Oh, well, technically, the standalones are considered a series, but I feel like it's like they're a series of standalones, you know? This was Gleam by Miss Raven Kennedy. I'm going to put this one in fashion. This is the 3rd book in the Plated Prisoner series, I think. I want to say I gave books 1 and 2 like 4 stars, and I gave this one 5 stars because this is one where finally our girl Oren starts like fighting back and like gets a backbone, and I love that for her. And the way it ended, I was like, where do we go from here? Because I thought certain players were going to be playing a little bit more, but I don't know where we go from here. And I don't know, I feel like I've also heard that like the rest of the series isn't that good. So I've only read the first 3, so I'm like, maybe I should just stop here and not continue on. I don't know, you let me know if you finish yours, because there's 3 more books and they're like the longest in the series. So I might continue on, I might not. I really haven't been in the fantasy romance mood pretty much at all. So We'll see. We'll see. Next up is The Duchess Deal by Miss Tessa Dare. This is, I want to say, my first ever Tessa Dare. This one's going in its fashion. This one, again, it's a historical romance. I think it's a marriage of convenience. And it was cute. It was fun. It has a scene in here, which I think is like one of my like favorite kind of dynamics or like things that happen, is where they're doing something and I think they're just like annoying each other and they start throwing back and forth these like really dumb pet names with each other, and I thought that scene was just adorable. I thought this was really good. It's been a minute since I've read it, so I don't really remember much. And I've read this entire series. And oh yeah, actually I have the third book here, The Wallflower Ranger. I'm gonna put this one in party. I did not like the second book in the series, really at all. But The Wallflower Ranger was very good. I just don't think it hit as much as The Duchess Deal. It was good, but The Duchess Deal, I don't know, maybe because it's my first one. It ate down. Ooh, Percy Jackson. This one, here's the thing. I could say this encapsulates the whole one, but like over the past 3-ish years, I think this is the only book I've read. Because I reread the series, was it back in 2020, I think? You know what, we're just gonna say it's the whole series. I was rereading this again because I was thinking about continuing on, because I know he required and recently published, I think it's The Chalice of the Gods, which is like continuation from Percy Jackson. And I was gonna reread this and then finally finish out the like second series that involves like the Roman gods. But then I just decided, I think that time has passed for me. I think my time reading Percy Jackson is done. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I enjoyed it when I read it. I will always enjoy it. But for now, I think we're done. She's going in opulence, obviously. Is that nostalgia? Mostly? 100%. But I don't care. Because I love this Percy Jackson series. And it will always have a special place in my heart. And I love the movies too. I know nobody likes those movies. I really love the first one. I haven't seen the second one as much as I've watched the first one, but I loved the Logan Lerman movie. Nobody likes it. I do. I'm a Logan Lerman stan. I don't care. Next up is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. This one's going in opulence. This is a memoir, and I don't really rate my memoirs. I think, did I get started? I guess I did, because this is one where I was like, this is like, I think, my favorite memoir of all memoirs that I've read. It's my first ever memoir. I think it was one of my first ever nonfiction as well. So I love this one. This is basically about a sapphic relationship, but a like abusive sapphic relationship that's told in like little vignettes. And it's 10 out of 10. I listened to the audiobook, which I usually do for memoirs, and I listened to it all in one sitting. I adore this book so much. Like, it's amazing. Definitely read it. Next is Breach of Peace by Daniel B. Green, who, if you don't know, is another YouTuber. He's a pretty big booktuber. I am going to put this one in its fashion because I did really enjoy this when I read it. I definitely think I need to reread it now to see if my thoughts feel the same. And I do want to continue on with the series. I think there's 2 books out in it right now, and I think there's supposed to be a third. I haven't seen too many updates on this. I even bought like a special edition bind up of the first 2 books in the series from, Wraithmarked on Kickstarter. So I do really enjoy this series, and I did really enjoy this book when I read it at the time. It's very short, so it wouldn't be hard for me to reread it. I just haven't, but I liked this book a lot. Next up is The Loser's Duet by Harley LaRoe, which includes The Dare. She's going in its fashion. I ate this one up as well. This one was such a quick read for me. The Dare as well as The Losers. This one, it read very quickly. I remember reading this, and the way they're called The Losers because like the people in this town or like their old like high school classmates still call them losers, and that's one of the things in this book that I was like getting secondhand embarrassment for the like bullies, because like, oh, these guys are losers, like you can't hang with them, they're losers. And these people are like almost in their 30s, I think. Like they've been out of high school for like a little bit, and I'm like, and you're still care about like who's the losers and who's the popular kids? That's just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you. Ew. But Losers is very good. It is Why Choose Sword Crossing. 10 out of 10. I had a good time with that. Another one I might reread. Things You Save in a Fire by Miss Catherine Center. This one's going in its fashion. This one was one that I was surprised about, actually, because I think this won the Goodreads Choice Words for romance when it came out, which technically this is very much women's fiction. There is a romance in it, but like it's pretty much solely women's fiction. And I was surprised to have liked it as much as I did. I really went into this thinking it would be like a 3-star fine because like at the time I wasn't really reading women's fiction, but I thought this was great. I ate it up. 10 of them. And Amber in the Ashes. I read this Did I read this year or last year? I don't remember. I either read this. No, I probably read it last year because I don't think I picked anything from this year for my 5 stars because I wanted to keep that a bit of a surprise for the end of the year. But I read this pretty recently. This one's going in its fashion. This is the first book in the Ember and the Ashes series. This one I've read. I'm like 60% into A Short Chance Tonight, which is the second book. But Ember and the Ashes is really good. It's a great start to a fantasy series, and I enjoyed kind of how dark this one gets because I feel like with YA you never really get like dark, but this one kind of, I mean, it gets dark. Like they're willing to kill people. They are willing to off people, and that's what I like in a fantasy. You need to be willing to kill whoever. Next up is The Cemetery Boy. This is also going in its fashion. This is one I read a little bit ago, but this one follows our trans main character who is trying to become a witch, a brujo, as they say. And I think he's trying to communicate with his dead cousin to find out who killed him, but I think he ends up bringing back this other kid from his school, and they're now trying to solve something. I don't remember what, but I did have a great time. This is one that I cried at the end as well. So like literally, if you can make me cry, usually it'll get a 5-star. It does. But I really enjoyed this one. This one was super fun. The audiobook was very good, and I'm pretty sure the second book for this just came out. So like I need to reread The Cemetery Boys so that I can then continue on with the series. I think it's only a duet as well. The Martian by Andy Weir is going in opulence. This is one that I saw the movie before I read the book, but the book was amazing. Honestly, 10 out of 10. I laughed multiple times. I cried, and I like happy cried too at one point, which I'm not like the biggest happy crier. I pretty much never happy cry, but this one got me a happy cry, and I just loved it. It was so good. I was listening to this when I was packing up my apartment in Florida when I was going to be moving to Vegas, and it was just such a good read, and it like got me through my packing very quickly. So I definitely think this one lives up to like its immense hype. It was so good. A Man Called Uwe by Mr. Frederick Bachman. Opulence. This was one of my first ever, I think, general fiction books, and it was 10 out of 10. I loved this book. Again, I laughed, I cried. That's really all you need from me. If you can make me laugh, you can make me cry, you're probably getting a 5-star. And I love this. And because this is one of the first time I ventured outside of like fantasy or romance, I think it always will have that special place in my heart because I honestly didn't think I would like this when I read it, and I ate it up. I loved it so much, and I love Frederick Bachman as a writer. I think I have another one of his books. My grandma asked me to tell you she's sorry that I'm going to put into fashion because I enjoyed this. I didn't enjoy it as much as A Man Called Uwe, but I still loved it. I still gave it 5 stars, and I thought it was great. Another one, laughed, cried. With Frederick Bachman, literally, you will be laughing on one page and you'll be like tearing up and crying on the next page. He's just such a great writer, and his writing works perfectly for me. Like 10 out of 10. I love it, and I need to read so much more of his stuff. The 5th Season by Miss M.K. Jemisin. Opulence. You all knew it. It's opulence. This is the only one I've read in the series so far. I still have not continued on, and I really need to. But this was 10 out of 10. I know some people say that they get like really confused by this, and I personally didn't experience that. I wasn't super confused reading it, but I still loved it. I thought this was great, and I for sure need to continue on the series, but I definitely need to reread the 5th season because while I wasn't confused, a lot does happen, so you really do need to like remember things to be able to continue on. So definitely need to reread so that I can finish out the series. The Fault in Our Stars. It's going in opulence. I reread this late last year, because first time I read it was in high school around the time that the movie came out, and then I reread this last year. I don't know, just because I was like feeling it. I was like really in the mood to read it for some reason, and it held up just as much as it did back then. I laughed, I cried, it got 5 stars. It was so good. I loved it just as much as I did that first time, and literally I was sobbing at the end of this book. So it hit. It was always going to be a hit. The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. We're going to put this in pretty. This is one that I read in high school. I remember loving it in high school, and like I remember reading the end of this, I was like sobbing on the bus on the way home. I had to like keep putting the book down because I was trying not to be like audibly crying so other people would look at me. But I reread this one. I think around the time that I reread The Fault in Our Stars. This one didn't hold up as much as when I read it the first time. No, I did not love it as much as I did, but I feel like I still have sentimental feelings towards it. I still really like the movie with Miley Cyrus, but it was fine. It was okay. She was okay. A Darker Shade of Magic by Miss V.E. Schwab is going in its fashion. This one was a reread as well, because I think I read it initially back in like 2021, gave it 3 stars, and then I reread it last year, gave it 4.5 stars. So I'm wrapped up to 5. Loved it. However, the rest of the series does not hold up. So this is only for this book because book 2 gave it 1 star. Hated it. If you want my full thoughts on it, I have a video talking about all of my like 1-star reviews. Check that out because that gives my full thoughts on why I hated that book. But this first book, 8 down, really good. Didn't love the rest of the series, and like I still feel like a little irritated with Miss V.E. Schwab for putting me through that. Except Radiance by Grace Draven. She's going in its fashion. This is a like monster romance, and at the beginning of this book, these two find each other like they're not attracted to each other at all. They in fact think they're like so ugly. But then they grow closer and they start to fall in love. And it's a marriage of convenience, which I also love, one of my favorite tropes. So this one, this one was really good. I like this one. I got this rec from Riley, another booktuber, because she like loves Grace Draven. And I read this one, and I still haven't finished the second book, which is Edon, which I don't feel like people say like you really need to read it, because to be honest, I feel like the first book ends satisfactory enough that you don't really need to read the second book. I probably will at some point. Maybe, we'll see. But Radiance was definitely very good. Every Heart Adore by Miss Shannon McGuire. It's fashion. This was also a reread. First time I read it, I think I gave it 3 stars. Read it again, gave it 5 stars. I read this. Oh no, was this? Okay, technically the 5 stars from this year, but I did originally read it years ago, which is why I think I moved it to this one. But I did read this year, so I guess I'm a liar, sort of. But this one was very good. I did enjoy it much more this second time around for some reason. It just worked for me more, I guess. And I really enjoyed the ending. It kind of made me tear up a little bit. I don't think it was meant to, but like, I don't know, I was just feeling for these characters. Pretty Girls by Miss Karen Slaughter's going in Opulence. This is probably one of my favorite thrillers of all time. It's dark. It is very, very dark, so I know that going into it. But I love this. And it's not even that like I was super shocked by the twist or anything. I really connected to these characters, and it's another one that kind of made me cry a little bit just because I felt like of the injustice of it all. But this one, 10 out of 10, I definitely recommend. I think this is Karen Slaughter's most popular thriller. But no, going into it, Karen Slaughter, like, her books are dark. They get dark. So, Strange the Dreamer, this is for both books. I'm going to put this in as fashion. It's for Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares. I really loved this duology. I know some people aren't a fan of Laini Taylor's, like, very, like, lyrical writing. She's definitely got, like, purple prose. I think listening to it on audio definitely makes the like very lyrical writing just, very nice because you can hear someone like telling you a story. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed both books. I think I enjoyed Muse of Nightmares even more than I enjoyed Strange the Dreamer. And the series as a whole is a 5-star for me, and another one that I really want to reread. Wolfsong by TJ Klune. I think I put it in its fashion. It's been a minute since I read it, and I don't super remember everything, but it is an MM romance. And it was an MM shifter romance, and it was like an emotional romance, and I kind of love, an emotional romance. So I did enjoy that. It was pretty long, and I have not continued on with the series, nor have I felt like continuing on with the series since I finished, even though I did really like this book. So I don't know, if I'm in the mood for a shifter romance, an emotional MM shifter romance, maybe I'll continue on to the next book. But then again, I haven't read this book in so long that I don't really remember anything that happened in it. My Best Friend's Exorcism. I'm going to put this one in Opulence because I did really love this. I mainly loved the friendship in this, the female friendship, because it's pretty much this girl trying to get her best friend back and doing whatever she can to like save her best friend. And I thought that was very sweet. In the ending, again, I cried. She got me. She got me there at the end. Not a book that I was expecting to cry about, but like the last few pages of that book, it did. Right in the feels, right in the heart. And I did cry a bit. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Opulence. That was my favorite book of, it was 2 years ago, 2023. I love this book so fucking much. And this is one of those books where like, I think I originally picked up on audio and I DNF'd it. I was like, actually, I don't care. No, don't. Put it away. And then I picked up the physical book and I was flying through it. I loved it. I loved Evelyn. I loved her I loved who she was. I loved her dynamic. And surprisingly, I was not spoiled for a certain thing in this book, a certain relationship in this book, I'll say. So, like, I didn't know that was happening. And I know so many people have recommended this book, but, like, I feel like people really talk about that, or at least I had never seen it. So it was kind of like a surprise for me. I was like, oh, so this is what this book is about. because I really didn't know. I had no idea, but I loved it so much. Like it literally still one of my top books ever. I loved Seven Husbands Up and Hugo, and I annotated like the shit out of mine. 10 out of 10. Archer's Voice. Opulence. Another emotional romance. I love emotional romance. What can I say? This one hit. I ate this up so quickly. Like, this follows Archer, who is mute, not deaf. Because I think the town like thinks he's deaf. He's mute, and I think her name's Brianna is our female main character, and she like knows sign language. That's how they start communicating. And they start getting closer. And they fall in love, and it was just. It was so good. It made me cry at one point. There was one point of this book where I started crying, and I was like, I'm gonna give this book 2 stars. Don't piss me off. She didn't. But Miss Mia Sheridan, it was close. But I gave this book 5 stars. I love this so much. This book, what is this book called? I can't remember. It's something submission. So I can't remember. So I feel like I have to put it in party because I don't remember much. But this one, I remember. This is like one of the first books I read. It's historical. But it's like, I think it has like BDSM elements, but like she's the dom in this situation. So I liked that because I don't think I'd ever read a book like that where like she's the dom, where like the woman is the dominant one in the relationship. And I really fucked with it. I fucked with it heavy. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I don't remember the name of the book because I can't read it. It's like very tiny on that. But I do remember really liking it. And I do need to read more books where the woman is the dominant one in their like dynamic. I know. What is it, like the Salacious Player Club? I'm pretty sure one of the books in that has that dynamic, but definitely one I want to read. The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I'm going to put this one in party just because this is one I really don't remember. This follows like the daughter of like Dr. Jekyll, I think, and like Sherlock and Holmes, like the daughter of like Dr. Moreau. I think it's like the daughters of like those like prominent characters, maybe. And they're solving something. That's like the most I can give you. I really don't remember shit from this book. I remember enjoying it. I could have gave it 5 stars. So I'm like, I feel like I can't move for choices because like choices I feel like is like bad. But Stranger of my daughter, she was fine. She's pretty. The Poppy War, opulence. Like you already knew she was gonna be opulence. I just got the special editions from LitJoy Crate. Beautiful, stunning. If you want to see like the full like what they look like, I have 2 videos on my TikTok, which I think I'll link below. You can see those there. But like the Poppy War is hands down probably one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. I love this series so much, specifically like the Dragon Republic. 10 out of 10 is my favorite of the series. So, and I did start a reread of Poppy War. I still haven't finished. I'm like 50% into the book. I started a while ago, so I'm like just kind of picking up, putting it down here and there. And I'm enjoying it even more the second time around because I think I gave Poppy War the first book 4 stars the first time around. This is solid 5 star the second time around. Like I love this series so much. I love Rin. She is my girl. I will be ride or die for Rin until the end of time. And I love the Poppy War so much. I love it, love it, love it. How to Walk Away by Miss Catherine Center. I think I'm also going to put her into It's Fashion. Another one that is, I think categorized as romance, but it is some women's fiction. The woman, she's been paralyzed after a crash with her fiance at the time. And this one was really good. She was just like learning to walk and learning to be herself and like learning kind of to be on her own. And I thought this was really good. I didn't love it as much as Things You Say When to Fire, but I did really enjoy it. I liked seeing her growth. Next up, The Fourth Monkey. And this encompasses the entirety of the 4MK series. I think I'm going to put that in It's Fashion. This is another one that I ate up. I borrowed this first book from the library, and then I literally went back the next day so I could get the second book. And then none of my libraries had the third book available to be able to read, because I'm pretty sure I read The Fourth Monkey on a Friday. I read the second book, The Sixth Wicked Child. The Fifth to Die or something like that on the Saturday, and then I needed like the third book immediately, so I think I just ended up buying the audiobook and listening to it. But I ate this up. This has like, it's like a cat and mouse game where they're trying to find something. I was about to say spoiler, but this first book basically follows a man is like hit by a bus at the beginning of this, and then they figure out that the man that died is potentially this like notorious serial killer known as the 4MK killer. And I think before he died, he took another person, and now they have to like, they're against the clock of like trying to find this person before, I don't know, bad things happen. But that's what happened, and it goes across 3 books. It's like one story. Super good. I really enjoyed it. Next, Daisy Jones and the Six. I think I need to put this in opulence. I really enjoyed this one. And I read this one physically. I know a lot of people recommend listening to the audiobook. I ended up reading it physically because I didn't even know that like the audiobook was like really good before I'd ended up reading it. And this is told through like interviews. And I really like this one because it really reminded me of years ago. They used to have this show on VH1, and it was called Behind the Music, where they would basically interview artists from like and describe, you know, their beginnings and how they got to they are now. And I feel like that book was basically like an episode of that, and I used to love that show, and I was obsessed with it because it like the Daisy Jones and like the band and everyone felt so real, and it literally felt like I was just watching an episode of Behind the Music. So I ate that up. It was very good. Seven Husbands is still my favorite, but Daisy Jones is a close second. In fact, I have Malibu Rising on here, and I'm gonna put Malibu Rising in its fashion because I think Daisy Jones and Seven Husbands are like my top two. Seven Husbands, Daisy Jones, and then Malibu Rising. Those are the only three books I've read from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've yet to read Carrie Soda's Here, so we'll see if that tier list stacks up. I think so. I think maybe it might be Malibu Rising, but I still think Seven Husbands and Daisy Jones will be my top two. Malibu Rising was great. I remember reading the last like 50 pages of this in my bed on like a Saturday morning, like the sun was coming in, and I was listening to Malibu by Miley Cyrus. The vibes were just perfect for that. So I did really enjoy that book. Honestly, I've loved pretty much all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books that I've read. I'm pretty sure. I think I gave Malibu Rising 4.5, 4.75. I don't know. I don't think I gave it exactly a 5-star, but it's still a solid read. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. That one's going in opulence. I loved Ninth House. I adore this book. I love Miss Galaxy Stern, our main character. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I love her so much. And I think this is one of like my first ever Dark Academias. I probably read other ones, I just don't remember. But this is one of the first ones I've read definitely in a while. I still haven't read Hellbent, and I need to get to it, but Ninth House was so good. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. I think I read that around the same time that I read Red Rising. So I was just reading like banger. Dune. This one's going in its fashion because while I think Dune is an amazing book, I did give it 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. And it is like one of the books of the sci-fi genre that like everyone should read, or like if you are a sci-fi fan, it's like everyone's read it. I do think it is a bit slow and it is a bit dry, which I know is like the main complaint for most people, but I did enjoy it overall. I do want to reread it and continue on with the series. However, I've heard that like Dune is the best one of the series, so well, whether or not I enjoy the sequels, we'll see. But Dune itself was very good. I did enjoy it. Hate by Madison Kate, Hate by Tate James, and this encompasses the entirety of the Madison Kate series. I think I'm gonna have to put this in choices. I don't want to put it. I feel like maybe I should put it in Mama, This Is Garbage, but I'm gonna stick with choices because I binge read the first 3 books in this series and I remember eating them up. So like the first 2 I thought were great. The third book definitely was not needed. Like this book series could have been a trilogy. The third book just felt like they were dragging out this plot line. And then the fourth book was again aggressively drug out until we got like answers, because like the point of this is that she's a stalker. It's a why choose. They hate each other at first. She's a stalker. Like they're trying to figure things out. The stalker plot line, and that's like the main plot line, so drug out. And it's not like you could ever figure it out because literally they just like pull some random fucking person out of the air and that's like, oh, that's her stalker. And it's so unsatisfying. So I did not, I don't know, because I feel like if I were to reread this, I would not like it because I read the fourth book. I had so much time in between reading the third book and reading the fourth book because the third book did annoy me because it was drug out. So it was like 2 years later. I think I read it early this year or late last year, the fourth book. And I did not enjoy that book at all. I didn't like the writing. I didn't like any of the like slang that was in it. The term big dick energy is used so much times. It's used so many times throughout the rest of the series. So I feel like my reading taste has definitely changed since I originally read this. And I definitely know, like, if I read this now, I would not like this series really at all. That's why I feel like maybe it should be in Mama, This Is Garbage. But I haven't reread it, and I did really love those first 3 books. I think I gave the first 2 5 stars, and the third book like 4. So the last book got 1. But so we're going in choices. Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert. I'm gonna put this one in its fashion. Because while now I am not the biggest fan of Katie Roberts, a lot of the new stuff she's been putting out, I really just have not been enjoying at all. This was one of my first books from her. I think maybe my first one ever. And I really, really loved this. And I loved Katie Roberts' books where there's no question of like sexuality. People are just like, they date who they date, they have sex with who they want to have sex with. And there's never this whole inner turmoil of like, oh, well, I never felt this and blah, blah, blah. It was just like people were just being who they wanted to be. And I enjoyed that aspect of it because while the discovering sexuality and the coming out, those are important stories. Sometimes it's nice for people to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna be with who I want to be with, and it's not gonna be this whole dramatic thing. And I enjoy that in Katie Roberts' books. People just they are with who they want to with, and there's never really a further discussion into that in regards to like sexuality and gender. So I like that, and I feel like I'll always have like a special place in my heart for this because this is it's not a Hercules retelling, but it's basically taking the like Disney characters because it's Hercules, Megara, and Hades, and it basically puts like a spicy twist on it because Hades is like the owner of a sex club, and that's pretty much what happens from there. I did really enjoy it, and then I went back and read the whole series. So like I feel like I have a special place in my heart for this series, but Katie Robert as a whole is just no longer an author for me, unfortunately. Next up, Den of Vipers. She's going in its fashion. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie. I am thinking about putting it in opulence, but I'm gonna stick with its fashion because while this book, again, another one, maybe if I reread, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But when I first read it, I ate it up. This book is 600 pages, and there's like no plot. It's a why choose romance, but like I ate it up. I literally read this 600-page book in like a day and a half. So good. And then I reread it like a couple months later, still ate it up. Loki might reread it sometime soon. Now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh, I might give it another shot. Because right now I'm in a why choose mood. I've been reading a few why chooses because I've been in such a slump, and like those are the only thing getting me out of my slump. So maybe I will read Den of Vipers just because it was so good. I really liked it. Even when it came out, it was so divisive. Like you either really liked it or you hated it, and most people didn't like it. It worked for me. I loved it. I have a special place in my heart for Den of Vipers. Diesel, my favorite character. And I feel like people have just been trying to like recreate Diesel and not as good, but 10 out of 10. This book, it's not a book that I think everyone would think is 10 out of 10, but it worked for me. It's definitely too long. Like, you could cut like a good 100, 200 pages off this bitch, but I still ate up all 600 of the pages. Always Only You by Chloe Leese. I'm gonna put this one in Party. Just because I really don't remember anything from this book. I remember disliking the first book. I didn't like the female main character in that. So there's not much I can say on this one. I really don't remember anything. I gave it 5 stars. Obviously, I enjoyed it. And like I know the premise. He's a hockey player. I think she's like the PR person for the hockey team. And I think she's got like a chronic illness. And they fall in love. The actual like into that story, if I could give you any sort of plot point and remember anything that actually happened in this book, no. But I clearly liked it at the time. So I think Party is fitting. 7 Days in June. Opulence. The top tier on this list so far. Literally, I love this book so much. This is one of the books where when Peter and I talk to people about it, I'm like, this book genuinely made me believe in soulmates. Like, these two are meant to be together in any timeline. Like, they are each other's other half. And I loved this book so much. This is another one I read in a day. One singular sitting. And I knew from like page 1 that I was going to love this book so much. And funny enough, this was one I thought I wouldn't actually like because it's like when people were pitching it, it sounded more like a literary romance. And it's not really. It's a straight up romance. But it does, deal with some darker topics, and it's very emotional. It really pulls on your heartstring, and I feel like that's my thing. Like I love an emotional romance. I love a romance where like I can feel their heartbreak. Like my heart is breaking as theirs is. I can feel that like tightness in my chest. And I love that, and I get that in 7 Days in June and Archer's Voice. But I get that in those kinds of romance. Like I literally want to feel like a pain in my chest because of how much we love each other. In a completely hard right turn from the last book, Morning Glory Milking Farm. She's going in Party. Let me put you down here. Because I I did like this book, and I do like this book, but this is one where I don't super remember it. I do remember being super cute and like fun, even though it's like the premise behind it sounds vulgar, because it kind of is. He's a minotaur, and he goes to get milked. Oh god. Anyways, it's a good book. I did really enjoy it. I just don't really remember too much about it. It didn't hasn't stuck in my head for this. True Crime Story by Joseph Knopf. I feel like this one is Freelance Fashion. This is one that I really enjoy. I feel like not a lot of people have enjoyed this book, but I did. This is like a missing persons thriller, mystery thriller, and I thought it was really good. I did not see the twist coming at all. I was so surprised by it, and I really enjoyed the story. It's told through interviews completely, so I feel like I like that kind of formatting for a story, is like told through interviews, and this one was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Hotel Nantucket by Miss Ellen Hildebrand. I think I'm gonna put this in It's Fashion, because this one, it was really good. I was surprised by this one because this one's very much like a beach read, and I feel like all of Ellen Hildebrand's books are beach reads. They all take place in Nantucket, and in fact I think she just wrote her last Nantucket novel, and there's 20, 30 of them. And this one was also really good. We follow a cast of characters, and it's kind of this mystery at its heart, but I just really enjoyed it. It was a quick read, and I thought it was fun. It's definitely very much a beach read, even though I read it probably in February. So it was still kind of cold out, so it was very much winter, but I still had a great time. Next up, Bound to the Battle God. I'll put it in party, because while this book was good and I enjoyed it, it was too long. Miss Ruby Dixon, there are certain books she writes where she's just long-winded. She has some books that are 500-600 pages, and they simply don't need to be that long. But this was done well, and I did enjoy it. I remember I took a break when I got to a certain point, and then I kept reading through. So I did really enjoy it overall, and I had a good time with it. And I do like Ruby Dixon. I've read, I think, definitely, yep. We're going to talk about her, Miss Ice Planet Barbarians. I read this entire series. I've read many of the spin-offs. It's Fashion. I can't put her in Opulence, even though, I kind of want to, overall for the series. But I feel like it's solidly It's Fashion, because while some of these books are duds, other ones are just super fun. They're never really that serious. That's how I feel about the book. They're just simply not that serious. But Ice Planet Barbarians was a great time. I flew through most of it. I think I physically read the first 11 books in this series, and then I listened to the audio for the second half. So I did have a good time with these. The latter half of the series is definitely not as strong. It's not as good, but it still was a fun time over. If you want a fun little palate cleanser, Ice Planet Barbarians is it. Baking with Benefits by Lily Gold. I think she's also It's Fashion. Another one that I don't super remember every single plot point from this, but I do remember really enjoying it overall. This is Why I Choose Contemporary Romance. I think they're her best friends. They live across the hall from her. I think one of them used to be her teacher, so I don't know how that worked out. But yeah, I think they're teaching her how to date, because she's bad at it. It starts off with her on a date, and she basically scares this guy away, and then they get closer, they fall in love. It was fun. I had a good time with it. The only one left. Choices. Choices. The only one left. Here's the thing. This is one. Actually, before I get into that, we have another Riley Sager also going to Choices. Should I? Yeah, it's one. I'm not gonna say it's garbage, because overall I like these books. And you know what? I am putting Home Before Dark in Mama, This Is Garbage. Overall, it's still a highly rated book, but of the 5 stars, it's Mama, This Is Garbage. Let's start with the only one left. Like most of Riley Sager's books, I immensely disliked our main character, because they're written to be dumb and naive and fucking dumb. So I really didn't like her throughout that book. But the insane ending that everyone talks about, how it's really just twist, 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 things are just thrown in, because I was already kind of disliking her. I'm as soon as that started, I was okay, this is fun. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the twist, 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 twist. It's literally you're just getting thrown things back and forth. I enjoyed that. Home Before Dark. This is one where I think, because I enjoyed the twist and the ending, it made me be oh, this was good. But overall, same critique as last one, couldn't stand the main character. They were doing dumb, stupid things, and it was pissing me off. So, like, I feel like it needs to go, Mama, this is garbage, because the majority of this book was garbage. So my mic cut out and I didn't notice, and I missed the next like 5 books. So I guess I'll just kind of speed through the ones that we missed. First one is Six Deaths of the Saint by Alex Harrow. This one, it's Opulence. It's amazing. I love this book. It's literally 36 pages, and Alex Harrow got me to cry in it somehow. So 10 out of 10, amazing. Next is the Vitale Brothers series. This went into Party. I enjoyed this series overall. They're Mafia romances, and I think they're a great little palate cleansers. Next is Bride by Miss Ali Hazelwood. This went into It's Fashion. I love this book. It's probably my favorite Ali Hazelwood, and it just reminds me of like quintessential paranormal romance. Next is Satan's Affair by H.G. Carlton. This is like the prequel to Haunting Adeline. I DNF'd Haunting Adeline, didn't like it at all. So this one's choices. It was fine. It's short, sweet, easy to get through, but definitely not a favorite. And then finally, we have Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This went into It's Fashion. It's my favorite of the Stormlight archives so far, but I don't think it's not at Opulence yet, but it is definitely a great story. Vicious by V.E. Schwab, I said that wrong. I'm gonna put this in Party because I enjoyed this, but another one where I'm like, I don't feel like I have that very strong feelings for it. Like, I don't think it's Opulence or It's Fashion. Like, A Dark Shade of Magic was definitely It's Fashion. Ate it up. Thought it was great. But Vicious, it was good. It was fine. And I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series because most people say that Vengeful wasn't really necessary. Like, it felt like an unnecessary sequel. And I know there's going to be a 3rd book. So maybe once I hear reviews on this 3rd book, then maybe I'll give the series another shot. I'll reread Vicious and continue on. But as of right now, I think I'm done with the series. And Vicious was solidly good. Cobalt Red. This is going right up into Opulence. I am one of these people, I don't know, like, I just never knew about what was going on in the Congo. Like, it wasn't something that was ever really taught in school, and it's not something that people ever really talk about in general. So, like, until I heard people talking about this book, I really did not know anything. And even, like, on TikTok and stuff like that, like, I never heard anything. I don't know how I managed to make it to this point in my life and not really know anything, but I didn't. Obviously, I knew in certain parts of Africa, like, people are living not like they are here in the States, but I didn't know to the extent of what things were going. Basically, it's like modern day slavery of them mining this cobalt. And I thought it was such an eye-opening read. Another one that, like, I started tearing up and crying at certain points where it's just insane to read this and hear people's pretty much complete disregard for like human life and like them just not caring that like these are people, these are other human beings, and they're losing their lives for what, you know? So I love this book, and I continue to recommend it, and I still think everyone needs to read this book. If you haven't yet, definitely get to it. The Sunbury Trials by Ian Thomas, same author of The Cemetery Boys. I think I'm going to put this one in Party because I didn't like this one as much as The Cemetery Boys, but I did enjoy it overall. Another one, the second book, I think pretty sure they're both duets. The second book did come out, so I have to read it. I will have to reread The Sunbury Trials to remember what happened because it's been a minute since I read this one, but I do remember really enjoying this. And the main character in both these books are trans, because I think most of his main characters in his books are trans. So it was a good story. Six of Crows. Ooh, it's going in It's Fashion. I know you guys think I should put it in Opulence, but I think I'm going to put it in It's Fashion. Simply because I still have not read Crooked Kingdom. Never got to it. I did really enjoy Six of Crows when I read it, and at the time that I read it, I was like getting back into reading, so I had to my attention span was shot, so I was like kind of forcing myself to like get to a certain page length every day, and I feel like I was in a very different mindset back then. So I feel like if I were to reread Six of Crows and then go into Crooked Kingdom, they would both probably be in Opulence. But as of right now, from like what I'm remembering and like the headspace that I was in at the time, I think it's gonna have to stick with It's Fashion. I will get to that at some point. I tried reading the Shadow and Bone trilogy before this one because I know people say like it sets it up and you know things, and technically I read this one before I even read Shadow and Bone, so I was going to go back, read that, reread Six of Crows, and then go on to Crooked Kingdom. DNF Shadow and Bone. Did not like the series at all, so I'm just going to move along, reread Six of Crows, go into Crooked Kingdom. That's the plan. We're almost to the end, guys. Next up, Unhinged by Annalee James. this represents the entirety of the, I think it's Necessary Evils trilogy, or not trilogy, it's series. I think there's like 6 or 7 books in this. I'm gonna put it in its fashion. I loved this book, specifically the first 3 books in this series. Eat down. I love them so much. I'm pretty sure I binged them, and then at that point I think I caught up to the series, so I had to wait for the next few to come out. I love these. I think they're so good. These are MM romances. They're, one of the characters is like part of a family, and they're all like serial killers, but they're like good serial killers. They only kill bad people, and they're all like psychopaths, like diagnosed psychopaths, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. I love that dynamic of like someone being a psychopath and being like, this is my person, that's who I'm gonna be with. And it's like, well, does that person get to stay? And they're like, that doesn't matter. I said what I said. Like, we're in love, we're gonna be together. Whether or not they're on the same page as me, they'll get there. So I love that. I love that dynamic. And I really enjoyed this series. It's really fun. It does have some darker topics, so like look into that if you want to. I don't think it's like gratuitous by any sense of the imagination. I still feel like the books overall tend to be light. So just like that, because I personally, I can't handle super dark topics, and I really enjoyed the series. Next, Electric Idol by Miss Katie Robert. I think I'm gonna put her in its fashion, because while I said I'm not the biggest Katie Robert fan anymore, for some reason when I read this, I ate it up. Like, it slapped, and it was no different really from the first book. And then like I think I've read up to books 5 or 4 in the series, so I've read multiple books in the series, and I've felt very neutral about all of them. I think most of them have gotten 3 stars. I have no strong feelings. I don't particularly love this series. I'm only continuing because I really want to read, I think it's the 8th book, which is an MM romance, which is Katie Roberts' first exclusively MM romance. So I was curious and I wanted to read it. And I'm probably just going to have reading the whole thing, because I think the series is only 9 or 10 books. So like, they're not bad enough that I'm willing to stop, but they're also not good enough that I give a shit. But for some reason, Electric Idol, I read this like in literally one sitting, and I ate it up, and it slapped. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. It just ate. I'm pretty sure it was just like right book, right time, right headspace, because I think if I were to reread this now, I'd probably feel the same way about this one that I do about the rest of the series. But for some reason, Electric Idol just really hit at the time that I read it. Egotistical Puck Boy. This encompasses, I think I've read, 4 or 5 books in the series. There's still more coming out, but this one's going its fashion, specifically because of those first 2 books, especially book 2. They're so funny. Like, I laugh out loud reading these books, and I love a funny book. I love a funny rom. This is a sports romance, MM sports romances, and they're so fun. Book 2 is literally the best book of the whole series. It's hilarious. I love the 2 characters because they're like best friends, and they end up getting like accidentally married in Vegas, and now they have to like play it off because like it'd be like a bad PR if they didn't. And like one of them is kind of like clueless and dumb, but like he's lovable. He's literally like a golden retriever, and the other one's like in love with him. And as they start to fall in love, the clueless and dumb one, it's not like he ever really has this like crisis of like, oh my god, I'm into my best friend, but he's gay. He's just kind of like, yeah, this is cool. Let's do this. This is fun. And I don't know, I just loved it. I loved that whole dynamic. I loved them. So I really enjoyed this series. So it's fashion. I do need to finish it out. I don't know. I feel like the later books, they're not bad. I just haven't been like as invested in them as I was in the earlier books, but I'll continue on at some point. Whenever I'm feeling in the mood for a sports romance, which I just haven't for the longest time, I'll probably pick this up. Riches to Riches by Ames Mills is going in opulence. This encompasses the entirety of the, what is it called? Abs Valley series. These are, I think it's 6 books in this series, and it's a set of duets. So a duet, 3 of them. And it follows, they're all white shoes with sword crossing, polyamorous, and it follows 3 separate groups. I don't even know what because not couples, but like groups of people. Because I think the first one has like 6 guys, maybe 5, 6 guys, and then the girl. This series 8. This is another like mafia-esque romance, and it's fun. It's fast paced. It definitely has some darker things that it deals with. Like I said, it doesn't go like too deep into it, but like some of these people have like things that have happened in their past that are like really sad, so know that. But I ate this book up, especially this first one. It's 600 plus pages, and unlike Den of Vipers, I think it uses 600 pages, all 600 of them, very well. There was never a point where I was like, oh, this just feels so long, it doesn't go on. And it's a duet, so like the second book, I'm pretty sure is around 300-400 pages as well. So like the whole story of it is like almost 1,000 pages, but it's so good, and I ate it up. I loved it, and I low-key kind of started rereading it last night. I moved on to something else because I just wasn't feeling it, but I still might reread this first one again. I reread the second duet and the third duet, so like I do need to reread this first one at some point. But the whole series, chef's kiss. And then they have like a spin-off series called, I think it's The Saviors. I read the first 2 books of that, and then the third book is out, but the fourth, which is like the completion of that set of duets, isn't out yet. I think that got pushed back a bit, but it's also very good. I don't enjoy them as much as I did that first one, because that first one just hit, but whole series, very good. Definitely recommend. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Opulence. Another one I read literally in one sitting. I cried at the end because, and not even because it was sad, it was like almost hopeful and like bittersweet, and I loved this. I still have not seen this movie. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of watching adaptations. It's just not my thing. But the book, 10 out of 10, amazing. Very short, quick read, but like it definitely packs a punch. So if you haven't read this yet, you should get to it. We Were Liars. That one's going in its fashion. I know so many people don't like this book for some reason. Like, I know it had its little like resurgence on TikTok around the time that I read this back in like 2021, 2022. But I enjoyed this. I didn't see the twist coming. Some people say the twist is dumb. I liked it. I didn't see it coming. I cried at the end of this immensely. So I did really enjoy this. I haven't read, I know there's a sequel or it's a prequel. I don't know. It follows like the parents. And then there's another book coming out in this world. Why there are sequels, I don't know, because I really don't feel like this story needed any sort of sequel or prequel. Might I read them? Maybe one day. I'm probably not going to enjoy them as much as I did this one, but maybe one day I'll give it a shot. All right, the last and final book, Beautiful World, Where Are You, by Miss Sally Rooney. She's going to go, oh my god, I missed one. Anyways, she's going to go into its fashion. I just realized I don't have Intermezzo by Sally Rooney on here, which is wild, because I'm pretty sure I gave her 5 stars as well. Anyways, Intermezzo would be an Opulence, because they're definitely tied for each other. Like, Normal People is like right here, Intermezzo is like right here, and then Beautiful World, Where Are You is like right here. Beautiful World, Where Are You? I read this around the time that it came out. I don't know, 2023, if I had to guess. Also loved this. This one, I feel like I recommend this for people who read romance, who wanted to get into like literary fiction. I feel like this one would work for you because there's romance in it and it's very cute. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it follows 2 different couples, but it follows 2 friends and they're like separate from each other and they're just living their lives and talking. And I think this ends at the start of the pandemic, I think, or it's during the pandemic. I don't know, but there is pandemic talk, and I know some people like pandemic stuff. I personally hate pandemic stuff, but I still really love this book. I'm a Sally Rooney fangirl stan until the day I die. So I love her books. I love everything she's written, and I think I've read everything she's written except for that like one short story that she has, but I will read that at some point. And I've loved them all pretty much. Conversations with Friends, I think I gave 3 stars because those characters tap dancing on my last fucking nerve. But it's in a realistic way, but they were still tap dancing on them. But these books, 10 out of 10, amazing. All right, I had to zoom out to try and get the entirety of the screen in here, but these are all of my 5-star books, tier ranked from best to worst. Definitely some of these ones here at the bottom wouldn't be a 5-star now, like Home Before Dark, Twilight of Embers, pretty much anything in Mama This Is Garbage, Choices, and probably some in Party would be much lower. I feel like Party, it'd be like a 4.5 maybe if I'm feeling generous. But Choices and Mama This Is Garbage, they're definitely probably 3 or below. I've got some clarity now. I've had some time away from the books that I'm understanding that these ones down here, they're not what I remember them to be. But everything else I feel like is pretty spot on and wow. So these are pretty much all of my 5-star hits and how I feel about them now. Who knows, maybe I'll do this again in a year and reevaluate. But I'll definitely be doing this at the end of the year for probably like I feel like I'll do it for like my all of the books I've liked overall and put them in here. I'm gonna have to find a new tier ranking system. I feel like I'll switch it up. We won't do RuPaul's Drag Race again. But that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.